Welcome back to More Than Just a Story. Today, I'll be sharing some of the ideas that caught my attention in the book East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This is a continuation of the first review I made of the same book. Before we begin, I should mention that there will be spoilers, so if you haven't read the book yet or if you'd prefer to explore it in your own first, I recommend watching the spoiler-free summary linked down below. Let's start with Kathy. Kathy is portrayed as intelligent, manipulative, and attractive. At a time when it wasn't easy for women to receive a formal education, she managed to study even if her education was incomplete and continued until she chose to abandon it. She distrusted people, avoided emotional closeness, and strongly disliked being controlled. This raises an interesting question. Why did she choose to work at Faceplace instead of pursuing a quieter job that aligned with her education and preferences? Was it a coincidence? I think the reason lies in Kathy's deep understanding of people's desires. She could sense what others lacked or longed for and reshape herself to meet those expectations which made people feel drawn to her. Since there were no official commitments between clients and workers at that place, Kathy had control over others without becoming emotionally involved. At first, she did this with the clients, and later that control extended over her subordinates as well. At some point in the book, Adam is described as emotionally asleep or dazed. Just as Kathy did with others, I believe she reflected what Adam needed, someone who could make decisions, yet also follow his lead, someone who seemed to love him and recognize the good within him. Adam may have been in love with Kathy, but his dazed state likely came from the idealized image he created of her and from what she represented in his life. Kathy helped him make decisions when he felt lost, but Adam, rather than awakening, was proactive in some way, but never truly changed, and not from within. As his deepest issues were not truly solved, Adam spent many years not in active suffering, but in a numb and apathetic emotional state. When Kathy meets Cal, she tells him that just as she suffers from arthritis, he will suffer from it as well. I see this as a retrospective line that reinforces one of the novel's central messages. Some things, in this case genetic illnesses, are inherited and might be beyond our control, but the power of choice remains and belongs to each individual. Near the end of the novel, Lee and Adam discuss the origin of the money Adam inherited from his father. Adam admits, based on a dream, that the money may not have had an entirely honorable origin. They then wonder whether Aaron would have accepted Kathy's inheritance. This raises an important question. What would you do if you discovered that your life or the things you have received weren't built in the honest way you always believed? If Kathy felt no love or affection for anyone, why would she leave her entire fortune to Aaron? I don't think I completely understood what this action meant. Aaron represented Kathy's opposite. If Adam had accepted the money, he could have lived comfortably, but the origin of that money was far from what he would have considered pure. Aaron would have benefited of the economic result of actions he did not approve. If Aaron had accepted the money without knowing its origin, Adam's story, accepting his own inheritance, would have been repeated. An interesting question that I thought of here was, do you think the origin of the money would have mattered more than what they would have decided to do with it? A similar situation occurs when Carl gives his father the money he earned. Adam rejects it because it was indirectly connected to something he did not approve of. In the end, Carl tears the papers apart, and the same question could be asked. Do you think Aaron would have accepted the inheritance? Samuel Hamilton represents the idea that even when the world does not acknowledge new or unconventional points of view, as happened with his inventions, which also never brought him money, thinking and reflecting are still worthwhile because they are another form of personal freedom. And final reflections. This book also made me reflect on how often we fail to understand other people's motivations. Their actions may appear wrong or cruel, but are they truly so? Or do we simply not consider or know the full story or perspective? Second, I've heard many times that a gaze can reflect feelings or intentions. In the book, Samuel realized Kathy's eyes were hollow, and he recognized this as a danger because of a past experience. But this made me wonder, have you ever seen feelings or the essence of something in the gaze or the eyes of a person? Finally, East of Eden reminds us how deeply human the need for love and recognition is. Every character longs to feel loved or important to someone. Adam needed Kathy. Charles wanted his father's affection. Carl wanted to marry and be preferred by his father. Leo returned to the Trask family and saw Ava almost as a daughter. What are your thoughts on this? What other details caught your attention from the book? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until the next time.